The host smiled at him and asked the question everyone was eager to hear. If you could be born again, would you still want to be Donald Trump's son? A brief silence filled the studio. The audience waited in anticipation. Barron, however, remained calm, his gaze steady. He thought for a moment, then offered a small smile and took a deep breath. "You know," he said thoughtfully, "people have always asked me this question. A lot of them envy the family I was born into. Being the son of a powerful, wealthy, and famous man might seem incredible from the outside. But who my father is shouldn't define who I am. If I were to be born again, I'd want to be valued not for the family I came from, but for the person I choose to be." The audience sat in deep silence. Barron's words carried not just the weight of a politician's son, but the voice of a young man striving to carve his own path. "I love my father, but I don't want to be known my whole life just as his son. Maybe I'd be born into a poor family. Maybe life would be harder. But what matters isn't where you start. It's how you live." For a moment, the only sound in the studio was the quiet breathing of those present. Even the host seemed taken aback by the depth of Barron's response. "I've always wanted to be strong, but real strength isn't about carrying a famous last name. Strength comes from within, from the choices we make, from how we stand in life. If I were born again, I'd just want to be Barron. Not because of my father's name, but because of who I am." The host leaned in slightly, clearly intrigued. "That's a powerful statement, Barron. But do you think your life would be the same without the privileges you were born into?" Barron considered this for a moment. "No, of course not. Privilege gives you opportunities, but it doesn't define your character. You can be given everything in life and still end up lost. Or you can start with nothing and build yourself into someone great. The real measure of a person isn't their circumstances, it's what they do with them." A murmur ran through the audience. People were moved, not just by his words, but by the sincerity in his voice. He wasn't reading from a script. This was a young man speaking from the depths of his heart. "I know people will always see me as my father's son, and I respect that. But I hope, one day, people will see me as Barron, not just for my last name, but for the life I choose to live. If that means working harder, proving myself, and stepping out of my father's shadow, then so be it. Because at the end of the day, I don't want my story to be about who I was born as. I want it to be about who I become." The studio remained silent for a second longer, as if absorbing every word. Then, suddenly, the room erupted in applause. The clapping went on for a long time, waves of admiration filling the air. At that moment, Barron Trump was no longer just the son of a former president. He was a young man forging his own identity, standing on his own, and declaring to the world that his story was just beginning.